the ancient Egyptian god of the dead Osiris. And then we'll learn why he was so important throughout all of ancient Egyptian history. So let's jump right in. In ancient Egyptian mythological beliefs, during Egypt's early history, the gods ruled as kings on earth. Osiris was one of those gods who served as king, and he was also one of 4 siblings, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. He was married to his very clever sister Isis. However, his reign would come to an abrupt end when his jealous brother Seth attacked and murdered him. In many versions of this story, Seth takes it a step further. Not only does he kill his brother Osiris, but he also dismembers his body, tearing it into many pieces. Isis and their other sister Nephthys had to search all over Egypt for Osiris's body, and then when they found it, they fixed it, put it back together, basically making him Egypt's first mummy. The 2 sisters then greatly mourned Osiris, crying and beating their brows. Isis, who was a very powerful goddess known for her intelligence and her knowledge of magic, then was able to bring Osiris back to life and conceive a child by him. The child, named Horus, would eventually grow up and fight his uncle Seth, becoming the next divine king when he defeated him. Now, by restoring Osiris's body like this and then reviving him, Isis made it possible for Osiris to live on forever as king. But now, instead of being king of the living, he would be king of the dead in the afterlife. Despite some parts of this story seeming fantastical to us today, the story of Osiris has classic elements that really anyone can understand and relate to. Jealousy between brothers, love, and grief over the death of a loved one. But why was it so important to the ancient Egyptians and to their beliefs about the afterlife? Well, basically, Osiris was the first to die and then be revived or reborn into the afterlife. Although his body was killed and damaged, it was restored, making him the first mummy, a model for all humans who wanted to live on after death. This is why statues and paintings of Osiris show him as if he were wrapped up like a mummy. So is all of this making sense so far? If so, let me know by writing Osiris in the comments below. For people who wanted to live on forever after death, emulating Osiris, that is, imitating the process that he went through, was crucial for success. This is why, if you could afford it, it was really important to preserve your body through mummification, and then to have an elaborate funeral that included many rituals and women who would mourn you by crying and beating their brows, just like Isis and Nephthys had done for Osiris. Doing these things helped a person make their way to the afterlife and be able to live there forever. So now that you know the story of Osiris, who is your favorite character? Is it the main character, Osiris, who was able to be reborn into the afterlife and live forever? Maybe his jealous brother Seth? Or maybe his vengeful son Horus? Or was it his very clever wife Isis, who was able to
the first love story in history? Hello, my name is Isis, and I will tell you my story. I live in the era of the pharaohs. We believe in the existence of the god of the earth, called Geb, and the god of the heaven, called Nut. Geb and Nut got married. Then they had 4 children, 2 boys called Osiris and Set, and 2 girls called Nephthys and me, Isis. The pharaohs believed that brothers can marry their sisters, so Set and Nephthys got married. Also, Osiris and I got married. I was so happy. I loved Osiris so much. At this time, my husband was the king who ruled the whole country. He was very fair and popular among his people. Our brother Set was jealous and very angry of Osiris because he wanted to rule the country himself, so he decided to get rid of our brother. He made a trap to kill my husband and became the king himself. Set decided to have a party and invited all the people, and the most important person is Osiris. It was a very big and luxurious party. We were surprised when Set brought a huge box, which was made in an elaborate manner. It was a golden box. Then he said it was a golden coffin, and it is a gift for anyone who has the same measurement with it. No one knew that he designed the coffin with the same size as my husband. Everyone was happy and started to lay inside the coffin to check if they had the required measurements or not. They were all depressed because no one had the required measurements except Osiris, who fitted the coffin exactly. Set closed the coffin while Osiris was still inside it and threw it in the Nile River, thinking that this way he will get rid of him forever, but he was wrong. I was shocked and felt very sad. I thought that I had lost my husband forever, but my love is very strong, so I decided to search for my husband's body. My search continued for many days, and when I finally found him, he was dead. Unfortunately, when Set knew that I found my husband's body, he took it away from me and ripped the body into 42 pieces. Not just that, he also threw every piece in a different place through Egypt. I didn't give up and started collecting the pieces of my husband's body together. After I collected all the pieces, I asked help from Anubis, the god of embalming and the dead, and together we restored Osiris alive. We were finally together again, but happiness didn't last too long. We had our son Horus, but my husband Osiris couldn't stay alive anymore. I said goodbye to my beloved husband, Osiris, who became the god of the underworld, and I tried to protect my only son from Set. I decided to raise my son well and make him strong enough to take revenge of Set and become the king, the ruler of Egypt when he grew up. That was my own story,